What is going on, people? This is the JT Sports Show, episode 23. Big news today. The Vikings traded for a tight end from the Detroit Lions. We'll talk about him. The Timberwolves are 4-3 right now. A lot of question marks still. We talked about the Wolves a week ago, Tuesday, after they lost to the Spurs by 11 points, but like 30 points for real. Tonight they play the Suns, the first game of the season where they play a real good team. Like the Spurs have been playing good, the Jazz have been playing good, but those teams aren't real. They aren't really good. Like at some point they're going to be tanking. So tonight is going to be a massive matchup. I am very intrigued. We'll talk about that. But first, please like and subscribe this video and follow us on all social media platforms. Borsty, how are you doing today? Obviously, big news for the Vikings. We'll talk about the Wolves because I know that's what you really want to talk about. But the Vikings are 6-1. I mean, this team's good, and
it was me who said 13-4, and you who said 10-7.
Yeah, I think I've already admitted my how wrong I was in that couple
Well,
weeks
the
ago.
schedule is easy.
Very easy. But your thoughts on the TJ Hawkinson trade, because this trade is massive in my opinion. It brings so much more to this offense that they didn't have. And I'm very intrigued to see how he fits in.
Yeah, I like it. I really like it. It just adds another weapon. Now when Jefferson's getting double teamed, you leaving someone like Hawkinson open with Thielen, Osborne, and Dalvin, who had a good game. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Kirk making moves.
Kirk ranks like 30th. I gotta try and remember these stats. Kirk ranks 30th in it's either 30th and something and 33rd and another thing in terms of tight end ranks this year. At like yards per attempt, that's one of them, I believe, and QBR rating when targeting tight ends this year. So obviously he is almost the worst quarterback when targeting a tight end this year. And so TJ Hawkinson had a game this year with like 100.
Sorry to interrupt, but I just need to say,
yeah,
Irv Smith, he hasn't exactly lived up to expectations this year. So I think that this is definitely a precursor to him leaving this offseason. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Irv Smith, he looked promising his rookie year. Obviously, he was hurt last year. Excuse me. But he has looked slow this year. And he's had drop balls. Yeah. He's been just disgusting to watch. I'm not as into football in terms of X's and O's as I am basketball. So I don't know how good he is at run blocking. I've heard he's decent, but I've also heard from I was watching the Pat McAfee show, and one of the Lions guys on there says TJ Hawkinson is a fantastic run blocker. So that is another thing that he adds to the arsenal of this offense. But I'm just intrigued to see how KOC uses him. Now we have JJ, KJ, TJ, and Thielen, and Dalvin. This offense is scary. Now, can Kirk just do enough? Because the weapons are there.
Well, he has been.
The coaches. No, I know. I'm just talking prime time playoffs.
Yeah.
Those are the times that Kirk's going to have to just be solid. The 49ers have gotten to Super Bowls with Jimmy Garoppolo just being solid. Can Kirk just be a 240-yard, 2-touchdown, no interception type of quarterback?
The 49ers defenses have been elite.
I know.
This defense isn't elite, and this was another game. I was actually kind of mad after this game, to tell you the truth. This was another game where I just don't really think we played very well, and we keep winning. Like, what's going to happen when we play a really good team?
Going to get hell broken.
Well, that's what I'm afraid of.
If we can go into we have to beat the Commanders this week, and I think we will. If we can go 1-1 against the Cowboys and Bills, that's a success. That's a success. I'm not asking to go 2-0. 1-1.
Oh, I know, but not only that, but then off of like very little rest, we have to play the Patriots on Thanksgiving. So that's not a super easy game with very little rest. So that's 3 challenging games in a row.
Well, it's what I can say is this team is very good at home. I'm very confident when they play at home, and they have the Cowboys and Patriots at home. On the road, It's a question. I don't know. How will Kirk do against the Bills on the road? That team is a juggernaut. So
Well,
that'll be
offense.
a question.
Their defense is
Their
it good?
defense is
I
good. The
actually don't really know
Packers,
about their defense.
their
They have
their
injuries
def,
though.
their defense is really good. It
Mhm.
is. The Packers sort of somehow ran the ball really well, but Aaron Rodgers didn't do much of the year until the fourth quarter. But the Bills' defense is good, and obviously their offense is amazing. I don't know how our defense is even going to come close to stopping that offense because they can do whatever they want. But our defense has started to improve a little bit. I
Yeah.
think that's due to continuity, learning the scheme, getting more comfortable. Eric Kendricks has been playing really well. Patrick Peterson, he
Oh,
was
he's been
okay
great.
last year, but
He's been so good.
he's been good. Cam Dantzler was sort of stuck on an island with DeAndre Hopkins last week a lot. Kevin O'Connell said he was very impressed. I don't know how impressed you could be with Hopkins getting 11 catches,
Well,
140
why
yards,
wasn't
but
Pat Pete covering him?
he O'Connell was asked that in a press conference, and he said the Cardinals were scheming towards staying away from Pat Peterson with Hopkins. So that's probably why. But
Well, what do you
either
mean?
way, just I don't know.
Isn't that the
Hopkins,
whole point?
I has Peterson shadowed many guys this year? Like I feel like he sort of has, but maybe they just
He's been good though. He really has.
he has been. Dantzler for the most part has been solid too, in my opinion. Like he's made some
Yeah.
big plays. He's a good
Mhm.
tackler,
Mhm.
but sometimes he can get overpowered with bigger receivers. That's probably
Yeah.
what happened with Hopkins. But yeah. So the Vikings play the Commanders this weekend. They play Taylor Heineke, former Viking.
Yep.
Uh, that team is not good. They aren't good. They aren't good in any area. Their defense isn't good. Their quarterback isn't good. Their running back, I like Brian Robinson Jr., but he's fine. Their
Yeah.
wide receivers are fine. Taylor, I don't know. Jahan Dotson might be back this week, which could
Look,
be a problem.
regardless, this is a game that you have to win.
It is, and it's on the road. And I think this is Kirk's first game
Oh
back in
yeah,
Washington.
which is crazy that this is his first one.
Yeah, so a little homecoming for Kirky. Maybe
Revenge
Kirky
game.
shows up. Yeah, I don't know how much of a revenge guy
And
Kirk is.
KOC too. KOC.
I don't,
He made me head coach.
Kirk doesn't strike me as a revenge type of quarterback. He's
No.
probably not going in there with
Well,
bad intentions.
there could be some extra motivation.
Maybe a little bit. But yeah, so the
Yeah,
Vikings are
not a
6-1. It was talked about before the season started and how the NFC was so wide open. But my God, is it wide open? I mean, besides the Cowboys, the Niners, and the Eagles, then it's the
Yeah.
Vikings. And those teams, I mean, I'm not like the Eagles are really pretty good.
I would be
Uh,
curious as to a Vikings Eagles matchup now,
yeah, it'd be
week 8.
closer.
I mean,
I'd
it
be
sucks that we
curious
had to
at
play them week 2.
I'd be curious at how much different it would be if it was here because
Yes,
that place is hard to play at.
100%,
Yeah.
100%.
And how scary are the Cowboys? I think they're pretty scary
I do
because their
too.
defense is very good and that
I think they're
offense
good.
is
Yeah,
starting to click. And if I were the Cowboys, I would have Tony Pollard be my starting running back. That
100%.
guy's electric, and Zeke has lost everything basically.
Yeah, he
The
doesn't have any
Niners, the
steps.
Niners are getting a little scary too. Debo has been so much more quiet this year, but now they have Christian McCaffrey, and he went off this past weekend. And their defense isn't as good as it usually is, but it's still solid. It's still solid, and that team's
Yeah,
good.
I'm
Kyle
definitely more
Shanahan's a good
afraid of the
coach.
Cowboys.
Yeah. Who are you more afraid of, the Cowboys or the Eagles?
I think
If
the
you have to
Cowboys.
play one of them on the road in the playoffs, who would you rather face?
Well, I would rather face the Cowboys because the Eagles Stadium, Lincoln Financial, is
Yeah.
the hardest place to play.
It's not even about the team. It's just that stadium.
Yeah,
That
it
place,
is.
that Kirk
But-
Cousins. It's the second you see Kirk in that white uniform in Lincoln
Oh my
Financial,
gosh, it's over.
it's
Over.
over.
Yeah.
It's just a bad sight.
Well, anyone going in there is like, this place is terrible,
You know, Kirk is just better when there's a roof over him.
and he's better in a purple uniform at 12 o'clock.
That's true.
But to answer your question, I'm actually more afraid of the Cowboys as a team. I think their defense is really, really, really good.
All right. Hypothetical. Vikings face the Eagles in the NFC Championship and lose by 30 points. Is this a successful season?
Yes, but that's not happening.
All right. Yes, that's hypothetical. Just wanted to bring
They're
it
not
up.
going to lose by 30 points. But
Well,
I do.
20.
If we make the NFC Championship game, of course, that's a successful season.
I agree, but man, it would be another disappointment, Megan.
But
If they had
no,
that
we're
would be
not
the
going to lose
same as
by 30.
2017.
I think it's going to be a close game, and I think we're going to end up winning.
It's not happening.
Oh, you don't think so?
You just talked as if it's this weekend. That game's this weekend. It's going to be a close game. I think we can keep it tight. It's not happening.
We only got 2 more
let's
months.
get the 1 seed. That's doable.
No, I've been saying that for weeks now, but no one's going to beat. Like their schedule is so soft. I don't think anyone can beat them.
I legitimately think this trade for Hawkinson could open this offense up even more, and just it's such a big weapon because that's just another like Pro Bowl-esque player to your team.
But listen to this: the Eagles would have to lose 2 more games, and the Vikings can't lose the rest of the season for us to get the 1 seed. At this point, no one on that Eagles schedule is gonna beat anybody. Or like
the Eagles' schedule this year has been just a cakewalk.
So is ours, but yeah.
Yeah, but ours is harder. Like they don't have to face the Bills. They don't have to face the Cowboys. Yeah, they do actually. It's in their division. But
their non-division opponents are just dreadful. It's it's like shocking how bad it is.
Yeah, I looked at their schedule a couple weeks ago just because I was curious, and I think I saw maybe 1 loss, and that was probably like greedy.
Probably at Dallas.
Yeah. So
and who knows if that'll even happen. But is it even important to get the 2 seed? Like, what's the difference between 2 and 3?
Isn't 2 you get a bye?
No, only 1.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, positive. 2 plays 7. 2 plays the 7 seed. But the 7 seed can end up being like the Buccaneers or something like that, or the Rams.
Hold on.
No, I know it for a fact. You don't have to look it up. I'm serious. You don't have to.
All right. Well, hey, it is common sometimes the Eagles might not be as good as they really are, and that might show
just saying, in terms of playoff matchups, like we would play the 7 seed at home, and I don't know.
I want to get a playoff game at home. I would love for the whole NFC to run through the US Bank Stadium.
Well, it will be 2 games either way if we're the 2 seed, because if we would win the wild card game, hopefully that's at home, and then
like 2017, we got a bye, right?
Yeah, because we the ones? No, we were the 2 seed, but back then the first 2 seeds got buys.
Got it. I knew there was a change. I couldn't remember what the change was. A couple other trades in the NFL. I don't think they're too big. Well, I guess like Jeff Wilson is now on the Dolphins. Bradley Chubb is now on the Dolphins. They're making some moves.
Yeah.
The Packers did not get a receiver.
Not a single thing. Yeah.
What are they doing? Like it's
like they're cash strapped. Their quarterback decided to make $50 million a year or whatever.
It's almost to the point though. Like just get like a trash receiver. Just get something. Like make some move. They're just not doing anything, and I'm fine with it. The Bears got Chase Claypool. They're sort of trying to find some weapons.
What are they doing?
Field.
Like
I don't know.
I guess, but like
they traded Roquan Smith.
They've been selling everything, and then all of a sudden they give up a second round for Claypool.
I mean, that's sort of like Claypool's young. Like that's still sort of a few.
I know, I get it. It's just kind of weird. Like, why don't you just draft a receiver in like the first round then?
Because they probably see something. They think that Claypool is more of a guarantee than a second round receiver. Maybe I don't know.
That's true. That general manager has not been impressive.
I think Claypool is underrated. I think he's pretty good. He's had 90-year-old Ben Roethlisberger throwing to him, and then Mitchell Trubisky and Kenny Pickett. So, all right, let's change gears. You see the background. The Minnesota Timberwolves have been a bit frustrating this year.
A bit.
4-3,
massively.
We have a winning record. I mean, come on. Last year,
no, you can't even say that because the teams we've been playing. All right, let's just go.
No, honestly, the Wolves have had the second most difficult schedule thus far
because of the
according to the records.
teams, basically.
According, Did you say before the season that you'd rather face a tanking team late in the season?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I was
Yes.
the opposite. I was wrong.
Yeah,
These teams are
I agree with
trying
you
way
though.
too
Like
hard
at the
right now.
time, I was like, I could get by on that, but no, they're competitive the first month of the season where they're actually trying.
Yeah. It's like whenever the Wolves had like 10-win seasons, they'd always start like 3-0
Yeah,
somehow.
like remember when it was the KG season where they started like
Well, yeah,
8
and
and
the
8.
Ryan Saunders that season with like Jake Layman and
Oh yeah, they
Travion
started
Graham
9 and
starting.
4 or something like that.
I think they started 3-0. I think they
Yeah.
started. I was like hyped, and then they just lose like 15 straight, and it's just
Yeah.
depressing. But either way, last year's team started 4-9. So my point is, they won 46 games. The season is not. It's not. We're not crumbling here. We have time to figure it out.
No,
There
but
are
it's just
question marks. There are question marks. Will this Rudy and Cat thing is a bit questionable right now. The Anthony Edwards situation is getting frustrating, and I have come to grips that D'Angelo Russell might not be the long-term option that the Jazz.
woo! Yeah. Woo! About time. Woo!
I'm looking for a guy like Mike Conley, maybe a game managing guy that can shoot 40%
What
from
about Pat
three.
Bev?
No, I don't want Patrick Beverly. It's maybe as a backup, but I'm talking starting point guard. I want a veteran, smart, good passer, and can shoot. Mike Conley. Your thoughts?
I think it's good, but there's zero chance we're gonna make another trade with the Jazz. Zero chance.
Well, I don't think it's the fact that we won't go with the
That
Jazz again. I
Danny
think it's
Ainge, the Utah Jazz general manager, owns Tim Connolly. He owns him.
what you're
I don't
already writing
even
off
want to
this
be going back
trade.
to that.
You
What?
can't write off this trade already. Rudy has been really good
It has
besides
nothing to do
this
with
last
Rudy.
game.
It has nothing to do with Rudy, okay? Nothing to do with him. It has to do with how it doesn't fit this team and what we're trying to do. And we gave up all
All right.
those
I'm
stupid
still
picks.
no, I'm still positive. I'm still on the positive side of the spectrum. You are not, obviously. It's been 7 games out of 82. We could be sitting here in a month's time, and this team could rattle off 8 straight wins, and the offensive rating could be third in the league, and the defense could be top 10, and we could be a very good looking team. It's just right now, it's hero ball. It's who's going to take this shot. Let's not move the ball around. It's the defense is questionable because a lot of it is on Cat, but a lot, and I mean a lot, is on perimeter defense, and that being Ant and D'Lo. Anthony Edwards talked preseason about being an all defensive NBA player, and he has been far from it. And a lot of that is due to effort, but on both sides. And it's not just defense, it's offense, effort, and consistency. Him not wanting the ball at times for whatever reason, because he's telling himself he's tired. We talked about that last week. For him, it's a mental thing a lot of the times in him being tired. But yeah, I think tonight, if the Wolves want any chance of winning tonight, he has to put up 35 points.
Yeah.
And he has to be aggressive from the get-go. And he can't take a second quarter off or a third quarter off.
I texted you this. Who's gonna tell him this? I mean, Finch has just got to do a better job. He's just got to do a better job. Or maybe he is. I don't know.
No, I think like in terms of getting Ant the ball a lot, I think part of it is on Finch because he's always been, especially late in games. Like he was asked the question a week ago or so, like how do you decide who's going to get the ball, and is there a reason Ant got the ball this game? He said, I sort of just usually go with whoever's feeling it, and
Well, that's
that could
not what
be
you should do.
D'Lo. I know you don't like that, but like
well,
sometimes
actually,
Ant's
in
not
that same
feeling
press
it.
conference, I don't know if I agree with that because he said, like, obviously we love it when he has the ball.
But he's not hot all the time.
Saying like that's assuming that that's just like how it should be.
Like there's games where Ant like almost doesn't want the ball, and therefore I don't want to just give him the ball every possession because sometimes he's in the mode where he just takes step back threes, and sure they look good when they go in, but my God, like even that Lakers game the other night, He had a
Oh,
couple of
so
nice
nice.
ones, but he also just wasted 3 possessions on bricked step back
Which,
threes.
and we were in the bonus, so he could have drove.
Yeah,
And
that's what I
got a
mean.
foul.
He's got to
Yeah.
like maybe take one. If you make it, you could take another. If you miss it, drive two in a
Yeah.
row. Yeah, you got it.
Now,
He's
this is the number one thing that has concerned me the most is how whenever we go back to this smaller lineup with Edwards leading the charge, it's Naz Reid out there,
yeah.
it's Torian Prince, it's Jalen Noel, and who else? Who's the last guy out there? I guess it differentiates, but whenever it's that unit out there, something special happens where all of a sudden we just go on a tear. If we didn't make this trade, it would be like that all the time. Right?
Sure.
And that's devastating.
Yeah. Another thing, D'Lo. We were texting about it the other night. Just give me your rundown on what you've thought of D'Lo so far this year.
I actually thought that he's had some solid games where he hasn't tried to be the man.
Yeah.
Like the number one option, which he thinks he is for some reason. It makes no sense. There are a couple games where I've been happy with him, but just majority of the time, the same opinions I've had for years just come back. I just don't think he's very good for this team. I don't, especially with Edwards. Whenever D'Lo has the ball, you could literally see Edwards in the corner. It's a body language thing. It's like here we go, you know.
Well, yeah, I think D'Lo, like in that Spurs game on Sunday, he was taking some dumb shots, and
Oh, for 7.
he tends to do that. Yeah, I mean, and that'll happen. But that's why I would prefer a point guard that takes 5 threes a game, goes 3 for 5, 2 for 5 sometimes, gets 9 assists, and is just a positive. And Jordan McLaughlin is similar to that, but I want a guy that is the same as J-Mac, but just better at what he does. Because J-Mac is a smart player. And obviously, J-Mac's not a starting point guard in this league on a winning team. He just isn't.
Well, what do you think about the small ball thing, though, that I just talked about?
Well,
does it make you regret the trade?
In terms of what Ant said?
Of what?
In terms of when Ant said that he prefers it playing with a small lineup?
No, just like watching the games, just seeing how much better the team does.
Well, I think part of I mean they're just more comfortable with that right now. And I think and with time they could get more comfortable with playing in a bigger lineup.
But can this big lineup work? Can it be successful?
Yes, it can, because other teams have done it. The Cavs are ultra successful with a too big lineup. It can happen. They just have to figure each other out. And like and you'd think with the Cavs, they have 2 centers that are not 3-point shooters, Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. The Wolves have 2 centers. One of them can space the floor better than anybody. Somebody's calling you.
Calling you?
No, you.
No, I don't know where that's coming from. I thought that was you.
No. But my point is, it can be done. Cat is a 3-point shooting big man that can space the floor. The problem with
he has not been good this year. He's been horrible.
Well, I don't know about that. He's been fine. Like the Spurs game, he was good. He was unbelievable in the first quarter. He has spurts. In the fourth quarter, the Lakers game, very, very good.
Okay, so question time. First round exit. Same story with him in the playoffs. Is it time?
Maybe I'll come to the. I'd probably come to the conclusion just because.
But we still have Rudy. So how does that work?
Well, yeah, then just Rudy just becomes the only center, and it's a smaller lineup, right?
With Rudy.
Yeah. Maybe trade Cat, try and get a nice point guard or an upgrade.
Yeah.
An upgrade at power forward, something like that. I don't know. I haven't even thought about players, but like then you have I don't know if you still have D'Lo.
Yeah, I know. There's so much.
D'Lo, Ant, McDaniels, good power forward, Rudy, and some picks.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
I don't know. That is so far away. We are 7 games into the season.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about cat trades right now. I don't even want to talk about D'Lo trades. But D'Lo has to be better, and D'Lo has to realize what he's doing at times when he's hogging the ball. But D'Lo is a great passer, and he shows spurts to me. He doesn't show spurts to you, but he shows spurts to me of him being a competent and more than competent, very good point guard. That what he needs to get better at is perimeter defense, and I'm not sure.
And his 3-point shooting.
Yeah, his 3-point shooting is weird because it just doesn't go in ever. Like it just doesn't go in. Like when he was on the Warriors, he was like a 38%er on high volume.
He was so good on the Warriors. What happened? Did Ryan Saunders ruin him?
No, like he was solid on the Wolves his first year. It's different now because he was like the number 1 option on the Warriors and on that first year with the Wolves because I think Cat was hurt. Yeah. So he's a bucket when he's the number 1 guy, but right now it's just a mix up. And it was sort of the same last year at times, but last year I thought he was pretty good. So
maybe the first half.
Yeah. The Wolves play on TNT tonight. Kevin Harlan on the call with Stan Van Gundy. Do you like listening?
It would have been a great broadcast if Van Gundy's on there. And he is the worst basketball broadcaster I have ever heard.
I hate Reggie Miller. I like Stan Van Gundy.
Really?
Yeah. I think he's entertaining.
Wait, no, this is Stan. This is the one.
This isn't Jeff.
Jeff's good. I like Jeff.
Jeff is ESPN.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't like Stan, the big Humpty Dumpty.
Bad. I don't even know what he's talking about half the time. Harlan's good though.
I like Kevin Harlan. I like him a million times better in basketball than football.
Yeah.
Football, it's too much.
He kind of goes over the top.
Yeah.
Like you said, this is a big game though. I am really curious to see what's going to happen. I guess we'll know in the first 10 minutes whether this is going to be a close game or not. This could be a blowout. I hope it's not.
You mean for the Wolves winning?
For the Wolves losing, like it could be a blowout the first 10 minutes.
Is there a world where the Wolves win by 20 tonight?
I mean, I hope. I don't think so. I think we're going to lose. I think we're probably going to lose. Well, actually, no. I texted you that we're going to win.
Yeah.
But now
the good news with the Wolves is throughout their history, and it's played to this year, they play down to their competition, but they play up to their competition.
Yeah, maybe we'll get a good hard-earned win tonight, and it'll turn everything around.
Well, my hope is that Ant faces Devin Booker, and what he always talks about is how he plays better when he's going up against or guarding the number 1 guy on the other team. Like if he's facing Keldon Johnson on the Spurs, that doesn't get Ant going. Right. Devin Booker will get him going, and hopefully it's a little 1v1, and those two go at it for 40.
Yeah, like you kind of feel like he plays his best when he's going up against top players. Like the Lakers, LeBron was on the other side. He probably wanted to, show out.
Yeah.
What was the game? I guess that was the Spurs too. But yeah, you're right. When it's big teams, big games, he wants to prove something. So.
Correct. Yes. All right. Anything else?
Should we touch on the Nets Celtics situation?
Oh yeah, Steve Trash got fired. Do you like that name? That's courtesy of Frank the Tank Fleming. Steve Trash.
I don't. I like Steve Nash. He's a good guy.
I think Steve Nash could be a good. I kind of do too. I don't think he's that bad of a coach. He was put in an awful situation. You have Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, 2 massive egos, and then Ben Simmons,
throwing
James
Durant
Harden.
in there. Throwing Durant in there isn't fair. I mean,
he's not. He could be a locker room issue. He can be.
Yeah,
and there's probably. I mean, that team is supremely talented, and they started this year 1-5. How's that even possible? Well, now they are, but they were 1-5. How's it even possible with Kevin Durant and Kyrie? How does that even possible?
And Simmons,
yeah,
it's just terrible. Like, is he going to be out of the league in like a year?
Well, yeah, I haven't watched enough Nets. Like, I haven't watched enough of their games to know why Ben Simmons has been so bad. But yeah, I mean, he
has no offense. That's why.
Well, yeah, correct. Yeah, I like Steve Nash. I think Steve Nash could be a good coach at some point. Would you rather have? never mind. It's such a bad question.
Well, what
Did
was
you know
it?
where I was going?
No.
I was gonna say Steve Nash or Ryan Saunders, but it's
Steve
Nash.
Nash. Are you freaking kidding me? That might be the worst question of all time.
That's why I wasn't gonna ask it.
That's good. At least you recognized it. Saunders, that might be the
I mean,
worst
honestly,
coach.
Steve Nash, with the talent he had compared to the talent Ryan Saunders had,
No, we're
Steve
not doing
Nash
that.
might have done a worse job.
No. Saunders is the worst coach.
Did you
Maybe in
see the
league
players
history.
he had to work with? Did you see those lineups?
Well, did you see that every single game they never played hard? They never played hard. They just got destroyed every single game. And he had Anthony Edwards on the bench for the first 5 games of his career. That's inexcusable.
Well, he wanted to give Travion Graham a shot.
Yeah. That guy sucks. The
I
only reason
remember.
we all know what
Do you remember
look,
when? Do you remember
his
when
dad
we
was a
signed?
great coach, but that's the only reason he had this job.
Remember when we signed Noah Vonleh, Jake Lehman, Shabazz Napier? I was excited about those players.
Yeah,
Those guys aren't even in the league anymore, and they're
who
young.
made all those moves? Was that Rosas?
Yep. Hey, no, I was thinking about this in the car the other day. Gerson Rosas turned this franchise around.
Well, that's
He
no
did.
secret.
I know, but he doesn't get enough props. Like, he came in, traded everybody, and I don't know if it was the D'Lo trade that got things started, or
Well,
if it was the Ant
just a
Edwards.
horrible trade, by the way. The D'Lo
Yeah, but
trade
if he
was
doesn't do
really
that,
historically bad.
where
he
is
did
this
draft-
franchise?
He did
If
draft
they still have
Edwards.
if they still have Andrew Wiggins, if they still have him, where's this franchise right now?
We
Depressed still?
don't have Edwards, so who cares?
Well, yeah, we could.
I don't think so.
Maybe they don't draft him if we have Andrew Wiggins.
No, there's nothing wrong with trading Wiggins. I was so for trading Wiggins. He was done here.
Yeah, so that trade was good then.
Well, no, but you could have gotten something better than whatever we got. The unprotected first. Oh.
Kuminga's nothing. I'm not a fan of Jonathan Kuminga.
Okay, but that's not the point. Is that it's a top 5 pick, and we could have drafted someone there.
Yeah, that's true. But either way, it had to be made, and this team is in a much better position now than it was then. And you can't say Gupta did it. You can't say Connolly did it. It was Gerson.
Connolly is looking horrible so far. Let's just be honest. You don't have to laugh.
I'm not rating anything. I think Tim Connolly has done a fantastic job.
No, he is not. He has been. This is looking historically bad right now. It could get better. Hopefully, it does.
You could
for all of our sakes.
24 hours from now, you could be saying this trade is. I mean, this team is pretty good. I mean, they beat the Suns by 30.
Yeah, well, who knows? What I will say about Rosas, he drafted Edwards when a lot of people maybe would have traded that pick.
Did you want Edwards? Did you want LaMelo Ball?
I wanted LaMelo, but that's back when I just didn't care. I was like, I'm so done with them. I'm so done with the Wolves. That like it's the same thing.
I just
wanted to sell tickets.
I wasn't done. My faith was never lost. I watched every game when the Wolves had Travion Graham.
I know that. I'm not questioning that.
But my point is, I was in the Shake Shack or a Smack Shack restaurant watching the NBA draft on my phone. I forced my family to leave early so that I could listen to the Anthony Edwards pick.
Who did you want? Who did you want? Did you want LaMelo?
I was unsure. I leaned LaMelo Ball for the entertainment factor.
That's exactly what I did. I was like, why don't we just draft LaMelo? He'll sell tickets. Like, it'll be interesting.
That's because that's what we want. We don't want to win games. We want to sell tickets. We want to help Glenn Taylor.
That's what it was back then. Because the on-court performance, obviously it's different now.
Yeah, well, yeah, LaMelo is. I mean, the rookie year, LaMelo looked like the better pick. Now, opposite. Ant's the better pick.
No, his rookie year, I don't really know that many people was. He should have won.
No, everybody was saying LaMelo was better than Anthony Edwards after his rookie year.
They're wrong.
I mean, I wasn't skeptical because Ant showed flashes, but LaMelo was like already very, very good. Ant was like raw as hell.
Still is.
True. All right. Well, what do you think Glenn and
thank
Becky
God.
are doing?
Thank God
What
he
do you
made
think
that
Glenn
pick.
and what do you think
So
Glenn
we
and
need to
Becky are doing
appreciate
right
Gerson
now?
Rosas for that.
What do you think
What'd you
Glenn
say?
and Becky are doing right now?
I think they're getting ready for the game.
The games in Phoenix. What are Glenn and Becky doing right now?
Yeah, I don't know.
What do you think Glenn does during the days?
Just sleep. I mean, every single year he just looks older. Doesn't he?
Glenn Taylor just makes me laugh every time. He's so old. He
Yeah.
just sits there with his legs crossed with a white piece of paper in
With
his
the white
hand.
sheet.
I'm convinced Glenn Taylor doesn't get up from that seat. He just sits there with his legs crossed all game. All right, I just wanted a little laughter. Glenn Taylor always makes me laugh.
Well, hopefully we can deliver him a playoff series win this year.
I agree.
So
I want to see the Wolves do something in the playoffs and shut everybody up. I want to see the Wolves be the best team in the state. I'm a big Vikings fan, but I want the Wolves to be better than the Vikings. Would you rather have the Vikings win a Super Bowl or the Wolves win an NBA championship?
You know the answer to that.
Vikings?
Yeah. It'll always be that. It'll
I
always
disagree.
be that. Well, Stanley Cup or championship, NBA championship. I'm going NBA championship.
Thank you. How about Twins or Wild?
The Wild have never won, so I'll go Wild.
But the Twins have lost 18 straight playoff games.
I know that, but that's
imagine they lose 18 straight and then they just go and win a World Series next year.
Yeah, that could happen.
No, it couldn't. All right.
Yeah.
That's a good ending to this episode. We went 37 minutes.
Hope.
What's that?
Look at the Phillies. There's hope.
No.
The Phillies won 87 games last year or this year. And they're in the World
But they have star power. Who's the Twins' star power? Who do the Twins have pitching? The Phillies have good. The Twins have who's even the Twins ace? I'm so out on the Twins right now.
Yeah, we're not talking
Joe Ryan.
We're not talking about them.
Joe Ryan. All right. Thank you for listening. Thank you for talking, Borsty. Great episode.
We need a good game tonight for all of our sake. We need to press the calm down button on the Wolves, but the only way we can do that is if they start winning.
Yeah, you're the one saying Tim Connolly's done a horrible job.
Well, if we win 10 straight, I'll shut up.
If we win 5 straight, that would include a win over the Suns and the Bucks. That would be good.
Yes.
If we win 2 straight, if we win tonight against the Suns and Friday against the Bucks, we're back.
And if we win, and if we lose 2 straight,
and then we're 1 below 500, and it's still questionable.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think we're gonna win. I think we're gonna win tonight.
It'll be a tough game. The Suns know how to win games. They do. They know how to win regular season basketball games. Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, DeAndre Ayton, all these guys. They're just good players. All right. I don't know when we'll be back. It's always questionable. Hopefully the Vikings win this weekend. The Wolves win their 2 games. They got the Suns, the Bucks, then the Rockets, and then I don't know who they play after that. But either way,
yeah, I don't know. I can't.
Either way, please subscribe, like this video, and follow us on all social media platforms. But we gone.